Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Battle for Wesnoth Amateurs Cup. You know the drill by now. We are on the freelance. This is the first match, the first game, I should say, in the match, between Dakede playing the Loyalists, and he's going by an entire egg roll, but the name that I know him by in my Discord is Butterlad, playing as the Undead. Unfortunately, the stats window is still borked, so I don't know why this happens. I think it has to be something to do with the way the replays are being loaded, question mark? I'm not sure. In any case, we're going to have to disregard the stats window, I guess. That's frustrating, because I personally think that being able to look at your statistics is one of the great features of Battle for Wesnoth. I don't know why this is happening, and I don't know how to fix it. So, let's carry on. So the Loyalists are grabbing a Merman, otherwise a fairly balanced recruit, but with two Fencers. The Undead, meanwhile, are going Skeleton heavy with two Ghosts for early scouting. We've got one Cavalryman, like I said, a couple of Fencers, which I think are an interesting choice in this matchup. They're not especially efficient against the Undead, and he's got another one coming out. They also have no ranged attack, so Ghosts can abuse them pretty hard. But overall, the Loyalists seem to be doing fine. And I think now both players have confirmed who their opponents are, and it is coming on nighttime, so the Loyalists don't want to be caught by the Undead out of position at night. Okay, I've got a Ghost and a Skeleton moving in to attack this Cavalryman. Cavalry are not very efficient against Skeletons. You can see he's only doing 4 blade damage, and the Skeleton damage output is only going to go up, so of course the Cavalry are wisely retreating. We do have a Loyalist Mage coming out, and I would expect that pretty soon we would start to see Dark Adepts from the Undead. Okay, got some free damage on that Cavalry. Once again, he's trying for the kill before that Cavalry can run, I think. Yeah, he's actually leaving the village for a turn, just in order to try and kill the Cavalry. He's got a couple of Mages over here, though, so the Skeletons have to be careful. The Ghost especially actually has to be careful. Butterlad's falling back as the dawn comes up. And interesting, we've got a Fencer attacking a Ghost in the woods. Ballsy. But it seems to be working out for him. Those two Fencers did manage to kill that Ghost. Fencers do, of course, have high defense. They're skirmisher-type units. So, I could see them being useful at this. They're not very good against Skeletons, though. And, of course, they have no recourse against ranged attacks. They just have to kind of sit there and take it. I don't know what that's about. And the Mage attack is going in. They've killed one Skeleton. The Loyalists are prosecuting a fairly successful attack on this side. On this side, I don't think this is going to work very well. Their Mage is going to do a lot of damage, but I don't know. Well, you know, I say that, and yet the Loyalists seem to be pushing pretty hard on all fronts. I think the lack of Dark Adepts is going to tell here pretty quickly. Excuse me, that's another Ghost down. Yeah, the Loyalists are really making a hard push. And they've successfully killed quite a number of Undead units. To only, I think, one loss. Yikes. Oh, and okay, here comes the gamble. Butterlad's Deathblade is coming out to play, and so is away from his recruitment spaces. Always dangerous. But yeah, on this side, the Loyalists won quite convincingly. In the center, they're being held off, but not well. And I don't know why that keeps showing up. And over here, Butterlad is holding them off, but only by using his General. Yeah, I don't think this ends well for the Undead. Turn 10, I think I can see the writing on the wall here. The Loyalists have a pretty distinct advantage at the moment. And I doubt it's going to get much better. Well, I guess the mage and fencer strategy did pay off. I wouldn't have expected fencers to be very useful in this matchup, but they kind of held off the attacks, I guess. The problem with fencers in this matchup is that Dark Adepts ruin them. With no retaliation, because they have no ranged attack, so, you know, they can't do anything about it. But there were no Dark Adepts recruited, at least not so far, and so the fencers didn't really have to worry about that. And the heavy Loyalist Mage strategy worked out as well. Now, Loyalist Mages versus Dark Adepts, I think, is also not a great trade. I mean, I think Dark Adepts kill Mages pretty effectively. And the Undead are going for zombie spam. Okay, well, that's a thing to do for sure. But they've lost all their villages and they can't hold at this point. And now he's just gonna get maged to death. I guess maybe these messages are showing up because this game was played in several sessions, potentially? I don't know. That might be it. But, yeah, the zombies are going to go in against the mages, but they're not going to be able to do a whole hell of a lot, I don't think. They might destroy this attack since the mages are unguarded, but it's not really going to work, especially because now they're going in for the kill, and there's the kill. So, Dakede wins the first one with heavy use of mages. I think the undead player, like I said, Dark Adepts, I think could have really kind of put paid to this Loyalist strategy, because a couple Dark Adepts during the night can wipe out fencers very efficiently, and could let the skeletons push the mages back a little bit better. There were no level ups during that game. It was fairly brief, 15 turns. A few Loyalist units got close, but pretty much everyone who was threatening to level up was killed before they could actually do it, except for this merman fighter, who just got a kill or two and then kind of retired for the rest of the game. So, let's go on to Game 2. Okay, so Game 2, we have got Butterlad as the Northerners versus Dakede as, I'm not sure if that's the Loyalists or the Rebels yet. It's the Loyalists. Okay, interesting. So he's been the Loyalists both times so far. For early recruits, this is a pretty good random, I think. 2 trolls, an archer, an assassin, 2 trolls, 2 archers, I'm sorry, an assassin and an orcish grunt. I probably would have grabbed a wolf rider just for fast village taking, but don't necessarily need it, I guess. Got another troll coming out. We've got the white mage, 2 merfolk, and a horseman, and then he ran forward and recruited a bunch more fencers. Dakede really likes fencers, I think, is the the common factor here. He really likes fencers. And merfolk. This is a map where merfolk can be used, because you have this river in the center that can be, you know, valuable. But, I don't know, overall I wouldn't say they're the very strongest. The problem with fencers against Northerners, and it is a serious problem, is that they have no way to defend themselves against assassins. I mean, a fencer will get attacked by an assassin, poisoned, and it'll just be that way. Especially when you're launching this kind of aggressive attack. Yeah, see, like that, just went down instantly. And at nighttime, fencers are, of course, even vulnerable to being attacked in melee. So the Northerners are making excellent use of their assassins. This is what you gotta do. He's got a horseman charge coming in, and fortunately, both retaliatory attacks were missed, because that troll would have absolutely punched the lights out of that horseman if it had made contact. Once again, we've got the poison coming out. That fencer is almost dead, and very likely to die next turn. And this horseman is well overexposed and vulnerable. So the Northerners are definitely getting some of their own back for last game. Maybe the stats work? Hey, I think the stats do work this time. Yeah, the stats are working for this game. Hooray! So, yeah, you can see that the Loyalists have actually been a little bit lucky. They've taken very slightly less damage and inflicted very slightly more damage than they expect, but they've lost a 16 gold unit. Fencers are not super cheap. 16 gold is a little above average. And they've recruited a total of 8. Those horseman plays, gutsy. He's about to lose that. Yeah, he lost that merman as well. And a horseman. Okay, so Dakede overreached and got punished really, really badly. Losing 3 units, 53 gold worth this early in the game. That's pretty significant. And this archer is about to level. 3 experience and he'll level. He doesn't even need to get a kill. He just needs to fight somebody 3 times. Okay, we've got another aggressive loyalist attack shaping up over here, but they don't really... I don't think they really have the strength to push this attack. I think they're a little bit outgunned. To be honest, because I mean... Yeah, that fencer is going down. And there's a crossbowman. So first level for the Northerners. And he's throwing this guy up onto solid ground, which isn't a great idea. This grunt is absorbing a lot of attention. Did eventually die, but... Oh, wait, hold up. Okay, he got the assassin there. That was a good kill. This is risky. This white mage, yeah, it's daytime, yeah, he's on a village, but still, he's exposing this guy to being attacked from 2 spaces, and there are units available nearby that can easily swarm up and kill off this merman fighter. Because this merman fighter only has 30% defense on the flat. So if the archer goes after the merman fighter, you get an assassin in to poison him to prevent him from healing, and get a unit... Get units up around the flank if you can, and pin Dakede in place even for a turn till they can bring the crossbowman up. The Northerners might be able to snipe Dakede right here. Unlikely, but possible. Meanwhile, over here, the Loyalist troops are just being abandoned. They just don't have the force to take this area against the opposition of a crossbowman. But they're gonna try. Oh, they got lucky. Well, that merman is being tougher than one might expect. Okay, and this mage might launch a kamikaze attack to take out the crossbowman, and that will be a worthwhile trade. Oh, is he gonna get a hit? Nope, he's not gonna get a hit. This is... Why? This was a dumb move. I'm sorry, I don't know if this was Dakede giving up, or what's going on here, but he's deliberately moving down to a place where the Northerners pretty much can't help but get 4 units on him. He's not going to score a kill here, unless this fencer gets really lucky. The merman fighter might get down here and be able to kill the orcish assassin with the help of the fencer. That's possible, I suppose. But even so, Dakede is just... I mean, he only has 29 HP, and he's on 40% defense terrain. That was a terrible move. Yeah, the mage is going in for the kill. But, oof. It's over. Yeah, there we go. And Butterlad wins that one with the leader snipe. Dakede just handed him that one, to be honest. Probably shouldn't have had the leader involved in this fight. Definitely shouldn't have had the leader way out in the open like that. That said, the Northerners were already winning. So I guess he was trying to just do something to turn the tide. In terms of stats, in this game, the Northerners lost 7 units, and the Loyalists lost 7 units, and the Northerners lost only 4. One of them was a crossbowman, admittedly, but still. In terms of luck, the Northerners were slightly lucky. They got lucky with their hits in that last turn, but to be honest, they didn't need to, because they still had more units that hadn't swung yet. So they would have killed him even if they'd had normal luck on their attacks, probably. And yeah, they inflicted slightly more damage than expected and took slightly more damage than expected, but overall, very, very usual luck there. So let's load the third game. Okay, so we've got a white mage up here and a swordsman down here. So I believe this is Loyalists versus Rebels, the classic grudge match. The statistics menu, I think, is showing the statistics from the end of the game. So based on this, it looks like... it looks like the Rebels won based on this. But anyway, okay, so... Well, let's see what happens. Yeah, Rebels. So Scout, Woes, Scout, Fighter. Double Horseman. Mage and 2 Spears. Interesting recruits on both sides. Double Horseman. A little bit of a gamble, I would say. Horsemen are a very feast or famine kind of unit. He forgot a village right here, by the way. That is a village. It might look like terrain, but it's a village. So the Rebels are going heavy on Woses, which is an interesting choice because, of course, Loyalists have mages who have magical fire attacks, and mages will kill Woses in a heartbeat. Woses are like, what is it, 60% vulnerable to fire or something like that? Hold on. 50% vulnerable to fire. So, yeah. Mage attacks with the 70% chance to hit, not that that matters very much against Woses, and the plus 50% damage are devastating against Woses. But the Rebels have taken a very solid forward position with their Woses. They've got some merfolks and scouts guarding. They're starting to get out some elvish fighters, which is good. The Loyalists have a couple of spearmen, and they actually moved their leader back. I'm not sure why he did that. I would have just kept him here. He did take that cave village, or... Yeah, it's technically a cave village. So, we've got one mage, a couple of spearmen, and a fencer over here guarding against this elvish fighter and elvish scout. A heavy infantry, who I would say is not a great player in the matchup against Rebels. 2 mages, which are definitely, they're the anti-woes contingent. And we've got an elvish shaman coming out, a horseman scouting up there. More spears. No fighting as of yet. And he's labeling where he thinks Woses are, I think. But he's missed one. Oh, okay. That Wose moved out. Woses cannot hide in mushrooms. Kind of seems like they ought to be able to, but they can't. Okay, so. From this position, I might have gone ahead and attacked the Woes. Because you've got Spearman over here. Pierce damage is not good against Woses. Very not good against Woses, but he could block to make sure that nobody else could get to the mage. You can move a mage up. Woses are lawful, so they'll do... won't be able to kill unless he hits twice. Well, yeah, I guess he doesn't quite have the firepower to take out the Woes. But he definitely could block it all off and use the mage to deal some pretty significant damage right now. The Spearman can stand... Yeah, there's fine. He stops the Elvish Scout from getting anywhere. Actually, I would probably stand him on the forest, because that prevents the Elvish Scout from getting on the forest and getting 60% defense. And this Fencer over here, which has a blade attack. Woses are not resistant to blades. So the blade attack could come up here onto that square. Yeah, he could hit the Woes. The mage could hit the Woes. And as you can see here, the fire attack does 10 damage per shot versus Woses. And then he also has... Well, the Swordsman doesn't have leadership, but he has the Swordsman. So he could launch a pretty effective anti-Woes attack right now if he wanted to. And then just bring in other units to block, prevent the elves from getting around him. Bring this second mage up, and bring her in on the next turn, while this horseman or this spearman guarded the flank. I think if I was the Loyalists, I would attack... Yeah, I would go in and take out the Woes, probably. There is another Woes right there, which is unfortunate, but, you know. Oh, nope, the Woses are going in to attack. This is definitely the time to deploy the mage, then. Oh, it's the dreaded double Woes assault. But the Spearman has survived all of that, only to fall to an Elvish fighter. Still, that leaves them in this nice hollow square formation. Once again, with Horsemen, you really want to bring them in as a secondary killing unit, just in case stuff like that happens. This Elvish fighter is being a huge pain in the neck. Okay, wait, stop. This is a target prioritization problem. This mage should not have attacked this Merman Hunter. This mage should have attacked the Woes. The Woes can't strike back against ranged attacks, and of course the ranged fire attack would still be doing 8 damage a shot. Then you can swarm in some other units maybe and try and take it out. But there's no point trying to avoid the Woes with the mage. The Woes can still hit the mage. You haven't blocked the mage with anybody, so just go in and do what damage you can. Okay. Yeah, the Loyalists are in some trouble now. The rebel attack has successfully broken their lines in a real significant way, and the Woses are running rampant because their counters aren't being deployed against them. The mages are being deployed against other units. It is second watch, so pretty soon the Loyalists will start getting their damage buff, but... Okay. Oh, yikes. That was unfortunate. Yeah, we've got an Elvish Archer in the open, but it's not quite gonna die. Yeah, the Loyalists, well, they didn't quite lose the Horseman, but it was close. And Woes. Yeah, real heavy Woes deployment in this game. Interesting, 3 Woses. You don't normally see that. But the Loyalists are struggling. They really are. Ooh, do not Horseman charge Woes. Bad idea. Almost always a bad idea. Okay, so the Rebels have taken out a couple of, the Loyalists have taken out a couple of the Rebel units. And now they're getting the Mage Assault going. That Woes took a lot of damage from that Mage. Unfortunately, the Mage was left exposed on both sides. So, not ideal. Yeah, that Horseman was just a suicide unit. That was not a survivable mission, shall we say. Oh, well, nice. Sniped him. Okay, there goes the first Woes down. That's the mages doing their job. Scout down. And another scout down. So. Okay, so. The Loyalists have now, in this one turn, basically torn the guts out of the Rebel attack. I mean, we have some units up here that were killing that Horseman. Down here, though, most of the Rebel mobility and some of their heavy hitters have been destroyed. We've got 1 Woes left, which is probably going to take out this Spearman before he can level, or maybe take out that Spearman, I'm not sure. The flank's been defeated. The Loyalists have kind of solidified their position. They are going to have to take back some villages, because they're critically short on villages. So the Rebels are still at a significant advantage, but this was a good defensive turn. And if we look at stats, this turn he did get lucky. He inflicted quite a bit more damage than expected. And there is another Hidden Woes. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Woes. Okay, nope, the Woes is going after the Mage, which is smart. Because the Mage is the big anti-Woes threat. Oof. So many Woses. Hey, that's another one gone. Woses are expensive, so every Woes lost is pretty significant. But on the other hand, every Mage loss is pretty significant too. And one thing that the Loyalists have not been able to do is safeguard their Mages. Or really safeguard any of their units. Yep. Oh, that hurts. Any turn where a mage whiffs all 3 shots is a turn that hurts. Yeah, the Rebels are definitely winning this one. There's just no way they can be stopped at this point. They have too many units, too much power. They have a leveled Elvish Captain, which can give damage buffs. And the Loyalists are completely on the run. Yeah. That's unfortunate. But that's the way Wesnoth goes. Well, he took another unit down with him at least. The final insulting level. So, that is another win for Dakede. So Dakede is going to advance to the next round. That game was decided... That was a pretty good game, actually. That one was decided basically because the Wozes came out really hard and they weren't countered really hard. The counter that Loyalists have to Wozes is mages. And mages are really good at countering Wozes, but mages are also really vulnerable. So they have to be deployed in a kind of a tight, well-defended fashion. To be honest, the Rebels did not deploy a lot of damage outside of Wozes. They had some archers, they had some fighters, but mainly it was like Wozes and scouts. So if the Wozes have been countered by carefully deployed packs of 2 or 3 mages, I think that might have turned the other way. But in any case, excellent game to both Butterlad and Dakede. Great match. Love to see y'all again sometime. And that concludes this episode. So I'll see you in the next one. We're going to finish up with round 1 pretty soon here and move on to round 2, which has, of course, already been played. So thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.